Learn how the global reflect object translates traditional operators into clean functional programming methods. Here's my boilerplate code, and we are going to look at the reflect object as method. In JavaScript, checking if an object contains a specific property is traditionally done in this way. So you have something like this, name and person. So this is how you check traditionally whether an object contains a specific property. Now, the reflect object, on the other hand, is a modern built-in toolset. So it does the same thing, but in a modern way. So it takes this old operator and turn them into a clean, predictable function instead. So let's look at an example together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to define a standard target object. A standard target object. So I'll call it person. And inside it, I will have name. The name could be anything, but I'll use Ben. And last name, I'll call it maybe Bruce. This way. So now this is my standard target object. Now that I have this, it's time for me to do a functional check to see if the object contains a property named name. So how do I do that? Well, it's very simple. So this thing that I'm about to do corresponds to what I showed earlier. That if you want to check if name is present in person, traditionally, so you would do something like this and say name in person. So this is how you do it traditionally. Now I want to replicate it using the reflect method object. So I will just make a variable, let me call it answer, and inside it, then I'll pass this object reflect.as. So it has a method called as method. So it is what I want to use to check. So what does this as method require? So it will take a person, which is the object's name, and then the property that you want to check for. So in my case, I want to check for name. And now that I have this, I can just go ahead and print this to the screen. Document.getElement by ID demo.inner.html goes to the answer is answer. So now, if you look at what I've just done, you can see how simple this is. Now, the reflect.as person and name here, it evaluates the objects that we have here and that is being passed here and return a clear Boolean value of either true or false, stating whether that property key exists inside the targeted object memory. So this is not showing because the correct one is demo 1. So now, once I put that, now it should reflect. Now you can see the answer is true because it contains this property of name. Now, if I change this from name to first name, you will definitely see a change as well. Now you can see that the Boolean value that is returning is now false. That is, what I'm actually checking for is no longer contained in my object. But if I update this to be first name, you will see that it will return back to true. So now, if you can easily use this, like you can do let answer. If you can do this in a traditional way, let answer equals to name and person. Let me comment this out. Now, traditionally, if you can do this, you can see that this also works because this is that being done traditionally. Now, if you can do this, you now might want to ask that why should you care about this reflect object way if you can easily do it in a traditional sense like this? Well, the reason why you should do it and the reason why you should care is that every single method name on the reflect object perfectly matches the trap names inside the proxy handler, such as get, set, as, or delete property. So this allows you to pass operation down to the original object with zero friction inside custom traps. Another thing is that it allows you to pass property checking around as a standalone callback function within advanced array or processing pipeline without embedding structural keyword syntax everywhere. So instead of writing this standard syntax, if you look at this, I'll comment this out and then I'll bring this back. If you look at what we have here, by treating an object lookup like a standard method call, our code behaves in a much more safer and standardized manner, setting the stage for clean integration while building advanced object proxies later on. So if you now look at this, for our current object, if we change from person to age, that is, if we change from first name and try to check for something that does not exist in our object, what do you think is going to happen? I've shown that before, but let me show it again. You see, this will return false, and that is because the property key of age was never defined inside the object structure. So quick takeaways from using the reflect object is that it converts old keyword-based language behavior into standard functions, is the functional identical twin of the way we use prop in object operator statement. It is also highly flexible and acts as the perfect structural companion for writing object proxy code. So these are the benefits of using the reflect object over the standard way of checking for properties of an object.